세러데이 쇼다운. 하나생명 e스포츠 대 젠지 e스포츠.
Sorry about that, everyone.
It's all right. I don't think it affected
I'm not talking
anyone
to
in
the
Twitch
fans,
chat.
but I'm talking, I'm talking to production who probably freaked out a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Well, it may have also affected the space because it seemed like we weren't able to actually observe replays and things like that. So we just kind of rage quit those. Let's see whether we're going to have a more competitive draft this time around because it is once again first pick going over to Nongshim, which is kind of interesting. I believe that's because BNK chose blue side. So,
It's... If you expect your opponent's going to pick first pick, you can get blue side as well as the counter pick. Like if that's what you wanted, counter pick all.
Yeah.
You can kind of risk it and go for blue side. But let's see what they end up getting here, because trying to maybe give a counter pick to clear could be the game plan here. Perhaps it's Kellen who wants to have the last say in the bottom lane. The Ashe Seraphine is not going to be a duo that's going to get picked up in first rotation here for BNK. However, Karma also banned again by Nongshim. And with Orianna and Nocturne is a strong combo, they actually banned the Nocturne instead this time to start things off, as the Rumble will also go. But, things like the Rise are jumping up in priority here.
Yeah.
Especially if Orianna does get banned in this spot and they decide to ban both.
Yeah, with the Nocturne ban, I find it kind of interesting that they're going to ban the Orianna as well. Obviously, Jarvan is still up and available at the same time. That was second ban in
it feels
the
like
first game.
Quite an error, right? Because now they can get...
They're in a really awkward spot.
They can get so many power picks. They banned the Orianna. You could just first pick Jarvan. You could first pick Rise. I think both feel pretty good here.
I wonder what Daystar has as an answer to the Rise, because I think we know that that would be what was going to be picked up.
Maybe he was planning on playing Anivia. Maybe he's playing the Rise now, since they'll look for the Jarvan instead.
And with Pantheon and Xin Zhao both taken away, Jarvan's priority goes pretty high up. I think the only other thing that you're seeing here in the LCK especially is something like Vi that has been picked quite a few times, things like that. But there is the Jarvan that we were expecting. And now what does BNK do with what they've constructed here? The Rise seems to make a fair bit of sense here, but you are then going straight into an incredibly flexible Anivia lock-in if it does come on through.
I mean, it's Lahen's on the other side too. I mean, there's so many things they could do with this draft.
This is scary.
I'm not sold on this decision-making, especially because the Nocturne, some of its best tools, like you knew the Orianna wasn't going to get picked because you were planning on banning it. The Lulu is gone. A bit puzzled by this one. Maybe Raptor just pulls out Lee Sin and we see something crazy here.
Well, ask and you shall receive, Wolf. There is the Lee Sin.
Because that's the only other thing. That's like the only thing that makes sense is BNK being like, well, Raptor, I'll play this. It's fine. Don't worry. We've got strong access to anywhere because Lee Sin allows for that.
And he also allows getting out, and so you don't get walled into things if the Anivia is going to come up. Not to mention the fact that the Cataclysm is already there.
I actually would rather see Cassiopeia here now that Lee Sin is locked than the
good point.
Anivia here. Although they could still flex the Anivia and then pull the Cassiopeia out later in the draft if they want to. And that's what they're going to do here. You can get Anivia and a strong pushing 80 carry. But you could even go Sivir here and have, a strong lane and then swap the Anivia later.
Yeah.
Depending on what they pick.
You can go like Anivia Caitlyn here as well.
Yeah, that's a great shout. That's a really good one.
Decent option. But we'll see what they do decide to do here. Scout thinking about what he wants to be taking away. It probably shouldn't be a support, but it's going to be a Bard locked in.
They're going to let us know right away. Which is fair. I mean, I think the Anivia is still a great counter pick. Bard is going to be great in a lot of different matchups in the bottom lane. So we're sad the flex is gone, but I still think what they get is incredibly robust here.
Yep. And so now what is going to be the choice? Just a blind Gnar towards that top side of the map for clear. I kind of don't mind it. You were calling for it just before. You can protect it with a couple of bans at the same time. And we've seen Rise Gnar, like this was a very classic sort of T1 top side of the map as far as the first 3 picks are concerned.
In another era, I would ban GP from Kingen because he loves to play that matchup.
Yeah, true.
But I don't know if they're really afraid of that. So much scaling damage, though.
So many circles as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Like, the Bard ultimate sets up your barrels. You get the big keg explosion.
Yeah. Sets up the barrels, and then afterwards, you've got Cannon Barrage, Cataclysm, Glacial Storm. My goodness, that's so many things. You can make a word fusion out of that, but I don't want to do it on the fly because it's a bit much. As Caitlyn going to be taken away here, recognizing that could be relatively powerful in lane.
Makes the most sense. I'm still vibing with the Sivir pick for Taeyun, though. It's just really easy to play, very safe.
I personally want 3 games, so I'm really hoping he gets distracted by the potential Jhin Bard.
Oh no, please no Jhin Bard with Anivia.
Oh, it's got to be the Jhin Bard.
No.
That's what it's going to be.
I'd rather, like, at least it's not Jhin Bird in the bottom lane.
True. So, it could be. I mean, maybe you got mid Bard. Have you seen mid Bard before? I haven't either.
I
think Rusty played it. Yeah, I think Rusty played it, actually. You know, you get your rapid fire cannon, you start to meep slap pretty hard.
It does do some funny things, believe it or not. I'm really struggling to come up with a really strong AD carry here to play into this Bard lane. The Lucian made a lot of sense, but it's banned away.
Well, you can't play Sivir, but it's going to be Kalista. Okay, so no Renatas are going to be picked away or anything like that, but you can now pick knowing that the Kalista Renata is coming.
Ashe is banned, so...
Yeah, Ashe and Varus are both gone. It's actually kind of an okay... And without the Caitlyn as well, there's a lot of things that you would like to play into this Kalista that aren't there. And it's, look, it's the temptation.
It's really hard to play.
It's
really hard to play the Sivir lane into Kalista, I think. So I guess this makes sense. At least they didn't pick Kai'Sa.
I mean, I also really like having a full 3-game series. All right, let's see what top laner Kingen is going to be locking in into this.
Come on, do the GP. Don't be scared.
Oh, yeah, do it, Kingen.
Don't be afraid.
Your team's already locked in.
That's so boring.
There is so much anti-fun. That's the anti-fun comp. Apart from Bard. Bard's pretty fun, but outside of that, oh goodness me, it's not looking like a great time.
I kind of feel like the Renata is not that useful into this composition outside of lane, and the Lee Sin is very mobile, obviously. Can get past the Anivia wall, can get past the Cataclysm, can avoid the Tempered Fate probably, but if it gets stunned by lands, you know, then it's just going to be a sitting duck, and the follow-up CC is kind of insane with Flag and Drag, the Anivia Q, like even the W from Jhin to come out, so...
One of the cool things that you can do, though, is it's Kellen, for one. Like, this guy is a really amazing Renata player. But Realm Warp Renata, you can kind of put her in really funky positions to get that hostile takeover to work out. Because this is such a solid front-to-back composition coming out of Nongshim. Almost too much so. Where they've got, like, these beefy boys for the front side, and then the Anivia sort of holding down the fort, so much control of the battlefield. If you can then just circumnavigate it, you can start to pull them apart. So I think it's going to call for a lot of fantastic positioning here for Nongshim. If they have good vision, I think that this is going to be a very difficult game for BNK FearX to play. But I have to say, I feel way better about this draft this time around for the FearX boys than I did in game number 1. We may actually have a close game on our hands. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. BNK FearX looking to see whether they can bring this series the distance. And I think this day deserves it, right?
Yes.
Nongshim FearX, like, this was such a difficult series to predict. If it's just like a swift 2-0, Nongshim just dominate them and, you know, BNK's struggles continue, that would be sad.
Yeah, that would be sad. Even
and it might still happen, but I want it to happen in 3 games, Wolf. I think that's what we deserve. And then DK versus KT, I mean, we all know that is going to be an absolute mess.
It always has been, right? It was our battle for the final spot of the Legend group last year.
Yeah.
And it might be again this year if KT turn things around and the coaster starts going down.
Yeah.
I doubt
KT
it, but,
managed to turn it around. Oh, no, we're winning way too much. Quickly, let's turn it around. Yep, we'll do that.
I'm quite bored by KT right now, so.
Yeah, that's going to add a little bit of added entertainment. We'll see whether DK can help you out there. All right, Diablo and Kellen standing their ground here in this lane, and I don't think, you know, obviously Jhin does decently well in the early game.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that it's that good, and then I think that it gets even less good, and then you know, you press curtains and you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then nothing really happens, and then you lose the game. That's kind of how it's been going with Jin at the moment.
Sponge and Kingen are really the main characters for me in this game. They need to set up Scout and Taeyun for success. Lehens has some playmaking power here as well. On the side of FearX, I'm kind of into this Snar pick. I think it can be very powerful in sides in this game, as we're going to see another early Raptor gank, the classic.
Yeah, flash comes out. Q going to connect there from Raptor, but he gets towards his turret. And Raptor did not feel like tanking up a shot of one of those.
And since LCK Cup, Raptor and Kanavi are kind of like, we just don't play by the rules. We gank early. We will get your flash. You can't just stand up like you normally would.
Ooh,
nice dodge.
Avoids the flag and drag. That's 2 buttons that didn't do a whole lot. Sponge does know that he has to wait for that cooldown if he does want to scrap. As Raptor walking on a ward, but his whole mission is to make sure that he kicks him out of the jungle over and over again.
He's leaving.
Oh no.
Good luck to you.
Well, that's a reset on the Krug as well.
He's going all the way around the mid lane. He wants to come and pack this play topside.
Yeah, flag and drag doing a fair bit of work here. But Raptor can always get out, and he flashes to do so, gets on top of this crab. Raptor wastes a lot of time, but like you were saying, I mean, now Taeyun is just here in this bottom lane, unable to do anything. This wave is pushing back. Lehens, get back down here!
Lehens is rushing back over, but perhaps could be punished. He's actually even going to get Scout to come down a little bit here as well. Scout has no health, so I don't think he can do anything, as they are just going to get him back to lane for fine and for free.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, what?
Yeah, hops into it. That's a novel way of dealing with that issue.
I do remember when Diablo learned about, you know, in the lane swap meta, learned about Sion's charged Q. He's learning, little by little.
Scout is trying to utilize his egg, is what it looked like here, tanking up so many caster minions, taking a lot of damage, as somehow that Roar of the Slayer didn't work. Kingen, I'm surprised he didn't pause the game there. But Clear is going to make it back home, and does have a cull in hand now, as well as some brown bags.
Well, this bottom lane is going pretty well for Taeyun and Lehens, even though he's down a wave because Lehens left him there to get Raptor out of the jungle and get his flash.
I mean, the problem is that it should be going well, right? It's Jin Bard.
Yeah, it's just, I'm surprised it's going this well with Lehens leaving.
Yeah, true.
And then just coming back. I mean, the fact that he keeps hitting these stuns is a problem.
And Handshake was pretty nice. Unfortunately, there was just not a whole lot they could actually do about it.
And suddenly, just like that, Taeyun and Lehens are back in control of this lane. Despite the slight deficit I mentioned before. Scout has TP'd back to lane, and he is also chilling. Well, it looked for a moment like maybe he was going to have to come bail out the bottom lane, but that did not happen.
They've already got a bailout. They don't.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's bailouts down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're dads.
That's yeah.
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 I understood
nice.
why you had to say that. It's all right. Clear is about to hit Mega. Is actually looking to try and get some damage down onto Kingen. Throws the house around and gets a nice little wallop. Gnar into the wall there as well. He really wants to get this damage in. The Q is going to connect, and Kingen is he's just a Scion, you know?
He's not even going to get experience from that ward. He needed like 2 more minions.
Well, Sponge making his way over. Daystar is going to flash as Raptor gets the Q down, but yeah, he ain't following that one. And only level 5, not able to get a cheeky little kick or anything like that. That's a really nice Q to connect, though. Sponge taking more damage once again. Wall is great, and Daystar, he doesn't have his flash available. The handshake does come through, though. The egg goes down, and that is going to deny the bailout. And Raptor is going to get taken out as well. An absolute disaster for BNK FearX.
Oh, man, Kellen forgot about the egg.
Oh,
not really, but sadly the egg did deny his bailout there, which he was pressing just to get a little bit more there, and did get the egg out of Scout. But this is just a crazy passage of play here for the side of BNK. Like, Daystar here is alone until Kellen shows up and barely heals him back up, gives him the shield, then he gets the bailout on, and then meanwhile Sponge just breaks Raptor's ankles here.
Flash, man,
was so clean.
Slick.
And, you know, it's in part just set up by Scout's great wall. And then all of a sudden, you know, this is not really a playable fight.
He learned about great walls when he was in the LPL. That's how that one goes. That's why he's so good at this champion.
That's a very good, wow, we're dadding so hard.
That's an aggressively dead joke.
Yeah, but it was pretty good.
Thank you. All right, Diablo facing off against Taeyun here towards his bottom side. I liked how Kellen played that last fight. I just think that there were too many tools available for Nongshim.
Yeah, he was a little bit late to arrive. He didn't have his ultimate, you know.
And Sponge's outplay was just amazing. So Nongshim continuing to find early advantages here.
And because of Lehen's getting the flash on the Raptor earlier, you know, a little bit of a butterfly effect there.
Yeah. Okay, so still shove is available here for Nongshim's bottom side. First Drake is going to be an Ocean. I don't think that we're going to be clamoring to try and lock that one down, so it might not be a point of contention for a little while. As Diablo retains that advantage, and it's actually quite large, as we can see. 71 to 58, a couple of waves.
Yeah, there's a bit of an advantage up here on the top side as well for clear.
Yep. And Nara's been finding a lot of success here in the LCK.
Yeah, looking really good. Same with Sion, but more of the counter matchup to some of those picks like the Jace.
Yep.
So here in this draft, a little bit more strange of a pick, but works well with the Jhin if they can stabilize through the early game, which so far I would say they're on the right track for. Have a gold lead.
And there is also, you know, Catalyst done here for Scout. This Anivia will be doing a lot of damage later on into the game. Set up for success at the moment. Not to mention the fact that Raptor was the one playing hyper-aggressively, and then Sponge outplays him. And so now this Lee Sin needs to be pretty careful about where he's going to be situated around this map. Hopefully Raptor can get back on the horse and continue down the aggressive path, because if you're trying to play defensively on Lee Sin, you're kind of doing it wrong. It's not really how that one works.
He's not following my advice, but it's working out.
Well, I've seen this play before. As the Ghost comes on through, no knock up there, but the Cataclysm will be able to take down this Rise.
No
Raptor,
flash.
yeah, I don't think that he's going to be going in for this one. As Kellen going to show up, only level 5, no hostile takeover available. And Raptor looks for the angle, gets the kickback. There's the Tempered Fate to make sure that Sponge is all right. And I don't know, man. We're witnessing tilt right before our eyes.
Raptor and Kanavi, they can't help it, man. I swear they're practically the same player. They both do the same Xin Zhao build with the Hydra. And really, they're the only ones, I think, doing that right now. But at the end of the day, it's a big backfire again. And Sponge is like, thank you for the money and the grubs. And okay. The Jhin follow-up there actually works out really well. Just don't want to scrap into this comp at that position. As, you know what, Taeyun is saying, I don't need Lehen's anymore. My own Jhin in the bottom lane, I don't need a support, I don't need anybody's help.
He's got his little fridge over there as well, with his little drinks in there.
Yeah.
As Daystar, yeah, no flash, and so he just gets walled in and destroyed, seeing the advantage of this Anivia into the Rise.
This is quite Raptor-esque, right? Sponge was like, even you could tell with Sponge's movement there, he's like, yeah, I know Raptor, he goes for these.
Yeah.
I'm ready for him again. Like, he was just waiting for him to go in. And then so was Taeyun, and they just destroy the Lee Sin.
I don't see a world where that was ever going to work. Maybe it's just because I didn't see the angle and there was one, and so it looked even more silly. But
it's a little Lee syndrome, you know, in this game.
Might have been a little bit of that. But the benefactor is, of course, Sponge. 100% kill contribution right now on this Jarvan. And the first pick, once again, working out very well here for Nongshim. It's clear. Let's get rid of this wave. And I don't think it's the same as game number 1, where, you know, it's Yunara, Lulu, Azir, where it's just so hard to do anything as the game goes on. I think that BNK FearX have a composition that can be a little bit more robust later on. But this Drake should be going over to Nongshim. And if Nongshim retain control, we mentioned the brick wall nature of this composition, it'll just be so hard to fight into them.
Yeah, and that's kind of the plan, right? That's kind of the game plan with this draft. And the Anivia being 1,000 gold up was never supposed to be on the cards.
No.
You know, that's not supposed to happen. But Lens was like, well, I will make it so. And look at his aggressive positioning here again. He's just really good at Bard. And, you know, with the control they have on this bottom side now, I mean, the lead has shrunk heavily. Scout gets more plate gold. As Lens is lurking.
Yeah, he really wants to try and find a Tempered Fate angle, set up for Sponge to make his way down here, as both flashes are available. And Lahan's just going to make his way, and the Magical Journey comes on down. Handshake is going to be there, but there's a flag and drag. Hostile Takeover does so much work, as now Diablo trying to turn things his way. The Ren not enough to take down Lahan's, but Raptor is making his way in, and there is the safeguard to get him there. Flash out from Lahan's will keep him alive, though. And Diablo this time is able to dodge the Deadly Flourish instead of jumping into it. Raptor, though, continuing to go forward. feel like I should just have a soundboard of me saying
Yeah,
that.
he just does not want to stop, but I think it makes sense in this case, trying to stop the recall, split them here, as Lehens is on his way back, but it's going to take a little while here. There is definitely an angle. The control vision is so good, though, and it looks like that is just going to be the end of it.
Yep, a couple of plates do go down. One more, very, very close. Staying, holding on to that fourth bullet. And Daystar continuing to be in a little
Raptors
bit of a
pitched a tent.
Yeah, out he goes. Lehens takes a lot of damage, though. He'd just come back from base. So this is a good sign.
But
we're getting a bit of extra aggression here out of the BNK bottom lane.
Sponge is coming back. They need to be aware of this. They're going to spot him right now. He is on this scuttle crab. This tension is never going to let up here in this bottom lane.
It isn't. In goes Raptor once again. Does get out of the way of the flag and drag. Looks to outplay it and does so pretty nicely. But the curtains are now being called as Raptor has to flash to get himself out of the way. Now that has to be cancelled. Tempered Fate avoided as now Diablo dashing in. They do manage to get the crab, which is what this entire fight is about. And the flash has to be used. Every wall from Scout has been so good. As there's a flag and drag. Cataclysm comes through. Diablo just bounces out of it. Handshake is good as this time Raptor might find his revenge. As never mind! Sponge stays alive. It's a double kill for this Anivia. And Kellen underneath the turret will, well, maybe will survive. As Scout will just come over and take some crystalline overgrowth. Oh my goodness.
This draft just didn't have to be played out this way, but they donated so much. I don't know what else to call this. It almost feels like an ego game from Raptor. Like, some of these plays, I'm like, okay, just be happy with the small advantage you got, or just be happy to walk away because you do not have the position to follow up on this further. Like this here, he just dies. There's 4 people there.
Yeah.
And you just use flash. You're costing your team big, and everybody's in on the play. Like, everybody's communicating, coordinating the same type of play around it. But now he's 0-3 on this Lee Sin. And I like you said, tilt earlier really spells out, I think, a lot of what we're seeing here. I mean, it's tough as a commentator to know that and trust that, but it just feels like that's what we're seeing, you know, and it's never a good look.
With, you know, how narrowly Sponge got out and outplayed him and things like this, like, you can certainly understand if it was tilt. I wouldn't blame him, but still, you can't be making those plays. I think that Nongshim certainly getting the better end of it.
Scout is just kind of walking around collecting bags in this game. He is 1,500 gold ahead. His rod doesn't finish for 6 more minutes, and he's already halfway with his second item.
And he's level 11 now as well. The Glacial Storm value certainly very high. NK Furex, 2,000 gold in the hole. It is a Chemtech Soul next. Chemtech Drake next. The Soul opportunities are very good.
Yeah, very good. Pretty much all of them feel fantastic for this composition here for Nongshim, the lead they have. And unfortunately, Daystar just hasn't been realm warping in to follow the aggression quickly enough, as we are going to see Clear now in trouble. TP committed.
Yeah, Tempered Fate is actually going to be opted into here by Clear, but he immediately gets knocked up. Man, Sponge is playing so well today. As Kellen, yeah, he's on the wrong side of this one. Hostile takeover onto 3, though. That's a decent amount of value. Good handshake there at the same time. The Fate's call from Diablo will save his support, but the flag and drag just gorgeous out of Sponge. And Diablo not going to get bailed out of this one. The flash forward from Taeun with the 4th bullet in hand will be the end of this Renata. And now Daystar dealing once again with the specialty of Scout, and he'll be able to take him down as well. They're protecting the egg as King can tank up this turret for such a long time. Gets a good old thumbs up from his teammate. And Nongshim 10-0. I mean, it is perfect game territory right now as the teleport in from Clear to try and outplay this as he's just squished into the wall and obliterated.
Lens, no!
Perfect game is dead!
Oh! I swear, every time, it's like I'm commentating with you. And then something happens like that, and we're like, oh, the perfect game was the last interesting part of this.
We have had, like, this is like 2 go nects in a row.
Yeah.
After the Bro KT series that we had on Sunday last week.
It's, you and I are just ruining the LCK, I guess.
Yeah, it must be us.
Clear is unfortunately just 100% dead here, but the rest of the team are trying to group up to help this out. But Diablo's cut off on the side, right? Daystar shows up here, but he's just not that big yet. And Sponge is having the game of his life, man. Just give him his palm. You know, look at this double knock-up after getting caught. Cataclysm starts it off and denies them entry. I don't know if he could do more this game if he tried. And poor Raptor is just trying to make an impact. He had a much closer game in game 1 than he is here. Oh, I mean, much closer is maybe strong, but I feel bad for him because he had such a great start to the year. As Clear is probably just dead again.
Yeah, he might go Mega before he dies, so there's that. But then he does indeed die. That'll be the outer turret secured here as well, as at least Furex are looking to try and get something on the other side. Raptor, is there going to be a second kill in this game as Kellen was tanking up the turret? My goodness, this Sion takes so much to take down, but they finally will be able to get him. In the meantime, there is a Drake being secured, an inner turret being taken in the mid lane. Thankfully, you know, the Jhin has to spend a lot of time reloading, so it's going to take a little bit of time for him to take that down. But this is against the flow of play, so probably something that B&K are at least okay with. The problem is it's clutching at straws.
Yeah, it's... I mean, they got the Scion, but that's exactly why Kingen was the guy. He's weak siding top side there to absorb all that pressure, to make them waste so much time, so they get so much more elsewhere on the map. And Clear is just trying to farm. You know, he's in the mid lane picking up the pieces here as they're making that play top side. So this is why Jhin works in these types of comps. If you have a lead, you just layer one piece of CC in and just hold them in place forever. And eventually that Jhin will get that damage done. I mean, everything lines up here. Raptor gets the kick to start it off. But Kingen just ults. They have enough damage here with the Ren coming through to blow him up. Daystar's the one who picks up the kill. But again, it's not about him dying. It's about how much time he bought.
Yep. And so now that we've crested the mid game, is this the time where Nongshim throws away some freebies and then we get that weirdness in game number one? Or is this going to be a clean closeout of the game?
I just don't think this game, like, the same opportunities are there. They don't have the same tools.
They don't have a fed Akali.
Yeah, this time it's a Gnar that's less fed, but he's ahead into a Scion. And Clear keeps dying, so I don't know. He's like the 0-3 Gnar's 1,000 gold ahead. What does it mean?
I mean, if it was Noggery, you know, like back in the day, I'd be like, yeah, this is exactly what he wants. But it's not. He's not. It's Clear. So I don't know. Kingen, he's just going to be in this side lane, clearing things out. And Diablo wandering towards the Baron pit.
I mean, I think we do have to have a conversation about the fact that B&K was our second best team.
I know.
Just a month and a half ago, and now 1-4 is on the
Diablo
cards.
has to get out of the way of the dead turret as he at least gets his health bar cleared up. That's a Fate's call to come on through. Tempered Fate was decent onto Diablo, buys them some time as Raptor just explodes once again. The curtains are being called as this minion wave at least is going to get torn apart by this curtain call. And Taeun is just waiting. Get that last shot. We'll connect it onto Diablo as Clear.
It's getting more ahead.
Time, we'll be able to take down this outer turret right as the bounties are set up. Look at that. Gold money going over to Clear.
He's following that old classic Artosis principle, you know, when you're ahead, get more ahead.
Hold on.
Taeun?
Yeah, B&K looking for a little bit of an angle here as the bailout onto Daystar will not give him enough movement speed to catch up to the Swifties Jhin.
I think he also needs to leave. He will.
Yeah.
So Scion, Kingen's pretty good at it. You know, he has the driving skills. They had the Tempered Fate follow-up here, and the Raptor is up at the front trying to make something happen, has to defensively kick, then he's really the casualty as he's just trying to follow the play. They're just too far behind, and then the Jhin is like, well, you guys can't do anything. You can't retreat, you can't back, you can't challenge us. Okay, Atlas, this... The margins for comeback are very thin.
All right, so...
It will take a lot for Nongshim to lose this game. If they try really hard, it still might not be possible.
Having a look at that gold graph, though, it did tell us something. The gold has not moved very much at all.
True.
That's a Fate's Call teleport, now thrown towards a Kellen who did the walk strategy in order to escape.
A full 3 levels down. Okay, 2.5.
All right. He's also in the river, having a swim.
He's coming up.
All right.
No Realm Warp, but...
Get him! Moving over. That's a decent Gnar here for Clear, but he gets engaged on. He'll need that extra health as Kingen comes on over. That's the ulti just to disengage as Taeun slowed down. Sponge comes in. Cataclysm goes down, but he's taking so much damage. Hostile takeover will allow Diablo to get his first kill. And then the bailout is looking to try and keep him alive, but it's not going to work out as these health bars are just evaporating. The aim is true as Daystar does at least have his Seraphs in order to keep himself alive. Kellen's very dead. And Daystar sort of the last one alongside Clear here to survive in the fight.
Well, it looked okay at the beginning, sort of.
It did.
As I yelled, get them, because this is basis BNK being like, we got 5, they got 3, I don't know, it's the best chance we're ever going to get. And Clear actually had his mech in a really nice spot, so he can actually absorb this pressure as they look for the re-engage here. But Sponge gets this Cataclysm up. Raptor gets a really nice kick. I mean, you couldn't ask for more, but Taeyun is still just so ahead, it doesn't matter. Bailout here for Diablo does not work out, and then Taeyun is just shooting fish in a barrel here. Yep. Good try. Is the best we can really say here for BNK. They found an angle, they thought, but just too far behind as Baron gets taken in live, and the woes continue.
Yeah, now moving up to a 4,000 gold lead, closer to 5, as Baron is now secured. So BNK, I don't know whether this is going to be a 3-gamer. I have a feeling that maybe this is out with a whimper.
I told you during the break, you know, I was like, I think maybe it's secretly not going to be the 6-gamer we were hoping for. But I spilled the tea. I thought that was a sign.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe that'd have something to do with it, as Lahen's possibly caught out. Good knock up there onto Diablo as Sponge continues the great play, but then he dies immediately afterwards. The Renata is also dead. The bailout comes through, though, as Diablo cannot get it. Just barely not able to kill Taeyun here, as Raptor will be out of there with the help of the Realm Warp from Daystar.
Taeyun's ult's back up, but he's a little bit too far ahead, or too far away.
But they deny the soul point, and they trade 2 for 1. It's still bad.
It's bad.
But it's like, it could be worse.
But it's kind of hopeful.
And it's a negative 200 gold Rebel Baron power play.
Yeah, and like they put a dent in that gold lead for just a brief moment before this turret goes down the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Daystar does not have flash.
Isn't dead.
Still alive.
Good.
He's rod finished?
Yeah?
He's only a level and a half behind now.
Man, all I'm seeing are positives. 3 games, here we come.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Look, Sponge has no flash. Scout has no flash. Taeyun has no flash. Lahen's still, for a few more seconds, doesn't have flash.
Yeah, Scout has had, like, 0 egg value. Oh, wait, no, he didn't have that great egg towards the top lane.
Yeah, but it's been a while, right?
Yeah, true.
As this fight here, again, the Sponge is absorbing pressure. And the Tempered Fate here, a little bit awkward, but it doesn't matter. As Diablo, even if he gets this kill, by the way, like, even if he gets it, it doesn't change anything.
I mean, he does die, probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, going 2 for 2 then feels way better, and they got the Drake, so, you know, it could have been worse. As Tempered Fate going to be avoided here with a hop, skip and a jump, as Raptor looking to try and get out, does have to use the flash to do so.
My takeaway from watching Diablo, okay, Scout, you're not that crazy.
He's doing some weird bird moves.
But my takeaway from watching Diablo play this mid to late game is, what if they weren't super far behind? You know?
Yeah.
Like this draft looks really strong, looks really practiced. His Callista is pretty insane, right? But the wallets are just too light here for BNK. You know, he's trying to do what he can. He's not even Mosquito Callista, but
I thought they'd be.
He looks like it.
With their sponsorships, they could apply for a loan or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like it should be a case, but it's just not how it works in League of Legends, unfortunately. As Nongshim look for a bit of a siege here. Fate's call just to start this one up, as that's a flash from Kellen, Woods predicting the flash out of Taeyun, then throws a hostile takeover the wrong direction. What the hell was that, man?
Taeyun's like, I didn't even have flash.
Okay. Wow, that could not have gone. Okay, well, Daystar is now also dead, and the game is over, ladies and gentlemen.
Please kill Nexus. Good luck later on this week, BNK.
Yeah, I would agree with...
Please kill Nexus.
Whatever that reaction was. Yeah, hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
But, what is going on, actually?
Yeah, show those
That's
guys
a really
again.
good question.
Show those guys again.
Yeah, guys, what is going on?
Put the League of Legends away. Put those guys back up. They looked like they were having fun. I'm not having fun, Atlas.
Well, neither are BNK Fearex, as most of them are in the death chamber right now. This game may not end right here, but it did end just there.
Well, yeah. Well, it also ended a while ago. It's, you know, depends on, like, your definition of end.
Yeah.
If you want to be a little technical, Nexus is still alive. You know, they're not going to put the game time as, like...
Oh, the dragon was flying by to the left there.
Oh, that was cute.
That was really cool.
They won't put the game time in the records as when, you know, that flash play happened in the mid lane for Sponge, but that's... We know where the game really ended. Diablo is trying to make something happen here with Kellen, who just tries his best, let's say. But there is just no real good play to make. They're trying to set things up, but, like, they had a few of these moments in game 1 as well where you're like, wait, do they have an angle here? And they barely lose out, but you do that like 7 times and find yourself 7,000 gold behind. Like, then when you try to make the play, it looks like that. And you're like, oh, there was no angle. But, like, they don't want to just let their Nexus explode, right?
Yeah.
I would like it if they did, but, you know, I'm being mean because this game feels sad for them. And it's an unfair game. We didn't get to judge the draft properly. The early game was disaster. It's not fair. I wanted to see my man Diablo pop off. I feel cheated, and unfortunately, there just is no game left here.
Well, as you stated so correctly before, the Nexus is alive for maybe another minute or so. So there's a chance for some more attempts. As in comes the train. And Kingen looking to lock down this Lee Sin. The hostile takeover does basically nothing as the handshake comes in. Fate's Call goes down there as well. As Diablo just flashes into the enemy team. He gets the bailout as they take down Taeyeon. Sponge now down as well as it's a double. Diablo's popping off like an absolute maniac as he collects the triple and now wants to take down Kingen. There's the Quadra. Nexus is still alive.
Nexus still alive. Diablo's still alive. He turns the game around. I got to see it, Atlas. I got
It happened. Sometimes you just need to ask.
Yeah, now he's going to get a second dragon here. Okay, that's going to give him a lot more stats here. It's, you know, it's another Infernal Drake. Maybe he can do it again.
Playable, question mark?
Yeah, I mean, sort of, kind of. Maybe. In these fights with Kalista, if you use all of your CC on the front line instead, look at Diablo. He goes in here, flashes forward. He knows he has the bailout, and all these health bars are low, and Clear actually does relevant damage, so he can get these resets so easily. And he just flies through the team fight. Watch this from his perspective. Again, sitting on 3 items here. Goes in for the flash, changes targets here, gets the bailout, gets the reset. That's this one here onto the Jarvan, goes for the egg. He just got so much gold.
3,000 gold in that fight. That's 3,000 gold, I swear. Oh my God. All right, yep, that's a decent amount of money.
He is now 300 gold ahead.
Yep, so Mercurial's Scimitar bought outright as well as a belt.
He's like, if they can't CC me, this is what I do.
Yeah, I've got so many weapons, I'm gonna need a belt.
Now, can you guys just
I can hold on to him.
Buy enough time for me to get my flash back, and I'll do it again.
Well,
this Kalista is playing into a Jarvan, into an Anivia.
Well, we got a flanking Kingen as well. Nongshim just wanted to end the game right here. This is such a good angle. If Kingen can get on top of them with that big old shield that he'll collect as well.
Diablo really far forward here.
They do spot him out. Let's see whether Raptor can actually protect it. Decent double. Oh, never mind. He's down to the GA already. Sponge kind of out of this fight before it even starts. As the flash out from Scout. They will be able to take down Daystar, but now Diablo trying to do the same thing again, but he's not going to get bailed out. Not this time. Raptor might be able to save it as he safeguards away. And now it's only Kellen left alive. Scout lives. And there they go. It was a decent final salvo, but Nongshim will put them down and end this game 2-0.
But at least we got to see Diablo pop off, and that's what we all wanted on the Kalista, right? Everybody wins.
Yeah.
Who enjoys watching Diablo pop off because...
Except the ones that wanted 3 games. Because we didn't quite get there. Still, Nongshim will get back on the horse after their disappointing loss against KRX in the Saturday Showdown last week. They are able to take down B&K FearX pretty comfortably here.
They had to hard force so many of those skirmishes that went poorly.
They didn't have to go for those plays early on, right?
From Diablo was insane because he knows that Scout's in stasis and Jin can't kill him fast enough and there's no damage. Like, that's why he went forward like that. He's like, they can't kill me.
Yeah.
It was actually sick, but it's ultimately not enough because this is the final fight of the game.
And the Glacial Storm actually doing so much work here as well. Raptor kind of out of the fight. Diablo down to the bailout before anything really happened. And Taeyeon this time played safe, didn't get executed, and they were able to just clean them up. Having a look at the damage graph here, Diablo, man, he tried so hard in this game. Just really ultimately did not work out, as Scout also just doing so much and being able to find so many of these early kills onto Daystar. So much of it was based on his wall placements. This Anivia was so extremely good. And I think, you know, Scout and Sponge probably the front runners for POM for me, although Sponge, that outplay in the mid lane probably tips him over the line for me. But maybe it's just Scout. I don't know.
I think both are fine.
Well, it is going to be Taeyeon that picks it up. Never you mind.
His Yunara was really good. I think they could have lost game 1 if he got caught in those big major team fights, and he'd always position incredibly well. His Jin was incredibly accurate. You know, he had some really strong ultimates in game 2, but I felt like the game wasn't about him. But surprised by this, but not unhappy with it.
Yeah, no, it's not the worst.